Welcome to Mikey's Gaming Oasis. Today we're going to be going over the interior of Chateau Devil Dog, how to maximize that space. We're going to be going over the kitchen area, the crafting area, as well as the indie forge and the greenhouse. We're also going to show you the lovely ability of wireless crafting and maximizing that space for that. So stay tuned and I hope you enjoy. We're starting with the cooking area. You'll see the list of ingredients below. We're going to start off with 3 triangle ceiling tiles in between the first and second wall. We're going to throw those up there like so. We're going to put a ladder down, keeping in mind that we're going to pick this up in a moment. And then we're going to place 5 large storage boxes as best as you can. You can put it any way you want. I like to have them hanging over slightly so you can access them from the ground. Like so. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And we're going to pick up that ladder, and you'll be able to see that we can access them from the ground. And then we're going to put the indie forge in it. Now the industrial cooker, you can put 2 if you want. Like so. You put 1 there and then the next one over. I like to put 1 because I have 1 tribe member. We usually don't have a lot of cooking to do. But if you're a big tribe, you can put 2 in there. And then once the industrial cooker's there, as I said earlier, you can easily access your large storage boxes for your ingredients that don't need to go into the fridge or the preserving bin. Next, we're going to take 4 pillars, turn them into beams. They have to be the large beams, not the small beams. We're going to place them in between the same 2 walls that we did for the ceiling tiles. Then we're going to grab our fridge. We're going to place a fridge at the bottom, enabling the snap points to make sure it lines up properly. Okay? And we're going to get it to where we want our first one down. In this demonstration, I used multiple fridges. You really only need 1 extra fridge. You're going to place your second fridge on top, and as you see, it wants to snap to that pillar. Once you start going, there's going to want to pull out a little bit, so you got to make sure your cursor is on that pillar to make sure it snaps properly. And there's a little trick if it wants to stick out a little further. As you see, I'm going to move to the side here, and I'm going to aim for that corner in between the pillar and the beam and the refrigerator. And there we go. We got that lined up. Now, as you can see, I'm using multiple fridges. You do not have to do this. You can do this with 1 additional fridge and just pick up your back fridge as you go, kind of leapfrogging. Okay? Once we get all these in place, we are then going to pick up all the lower fridges, and we're going to put the preserving bins down. Alright, now that we have all the fridges picked up, we're now going to pick our preserving bins. As you can see, they're floating. They're stuck to the beam, so you don't have to worry about them falling. Now, if you take that beam down, those refrigerators are going to come down as well. Now we're going to grab our preserving bins. We're going to put a preserving bin all the way against the wall and all the way in the corner. Then we're going to snap one right on top of it. We're going to pick up that further back preserving bin. Okay, the one that's hidden in the back. We're going to pick that one up. And then we're going to snap all other preserving bins to that first one, as you see here. And voila, we now have our floating fridges with our preserving bins underneath. And then across from it, right on the opposite side, we're going to put 11 indie forges, industrial cookers. We can put 11 of them in that small space. Now we're in the crafting area. As you can see, when we start out, we have that big open space. We're going to use the quarter walls to fill that in. Then we're going to take 3 ceiling tiles and we're going to cover it using the quarters walls as our snap points. We're going to take one of the forges. We're going to put 4 forges in this space. Once we get the first one lined up, we can then snap the other 3 to that first one. Like so. Once we have that done, you can see we can still access them from below. Next, we're going to put 4 storage boxes and a fabricator. What we're going to do is we're going to put the fabricator off of snapping and we're going to put it on full alignment, and we're going to line up with the edge of the foundation block that lines that alcove right there. Then we're going to put 2 storage boxes with full alignment and snapping on each side. Once I remember to put full alignment and snapping on. Ah, there it is. Okay, smart man. And we're just going to simply line them up and snap them in place. We're going to work on the left side here. Left side is where we're going to put our smithies, our storage boxes, and all of our main components. We're going to start off with a wall, and we're going to move it to the double doors to make it look cleaner. Once we have that wall and the double doors down, we are then going to put up 4 ceiling tiles using that wall as our snap point. Sorry, 5 ceiling tiles. I can't count apparently. Then we're going to put down the storage boxes. We're going to disable the snapping because it's going to want to snap to the other storage boxes, and we're going to leave full alignment on, and we're going to line them up with the edge of that foundation block. Keep an eye on that. We're going to put storage boxes for the first 2 foundations. Then we're going to switch over to our smithy, right? Once we switch over to our smithy, we're going to line the smithy up the same way. We're going to line that smithy and everything going down this line on that foundation line, that foundation block line, like so. And we're going to line up the other smithy the same way. Once we have the smithy down, we're then going to put up the chem bench. We're going to put the chem bench all the way at the end of that row. And again, just like everything else, we're going to use that foundation line there as our guide. Okay? And we're going to put that right there. You can also use the ladder to make sure you're centered properly. Then we're going to place the 4 more large storage boxes in its place, lining them up the same way we did the other ones. Then we're going to put full alignment and snapping back on to snap them right into place and keep them in line. On the top, we're going to throw down a ladder that we're going to pick up later, and we're going to put large storage boxes and 4 bookshelves to get us started for our blueprints, so they're easily accessible for our smithy. Seven storage boxes. Then we're going to switch over to the bookshelf. 4 bookshelves. Then we're going to switch back over to the storage boxes, and we're going to finish it up all the way to the end with storage boxes. And as you see, everything is accessible from below and easily transferable to the areas we need. Then we're going to put, if you want to, a grinder in that side room just to the left of the crafting area. It is up to you on how you want to place the grinder. I like putting it against the back wall and then putting storage boxes lining, which I do not show here. Next, we're going to move over to our vaults. We're going to put 2 rows of vaults to start with. First, we're going to put up the ceiling tiles, snapping them on that back wall. 2, 3, 4, 5 ceiling tiles. Then we're going to put down our vaults. We're going to line our vaults up with the edge of that wall, okay, and the edge of the foundation, that line right there, okay. Once we get that first, just like before, once we get the first one in place, we can then enable snapping and then snap all the other ones to it. And then on the top, what we're going to do is we're going to disable snapping initially, and we're going to line it up to where it's just overhanging slightly, using that beam as our guideline so that we can access the vault from below, like so. And then we're going to re-enable snapping, and we're going to snap all the following vaults next to it. Next, we're going to put in our Indie Forge and our replicator. We're placing the Indie Forge right next to the second floor, disabling snapping, leaving full alignment on, and moving it as close as possible to that second floor ledge. The reason for that is our hatch frame that we have up there that allows us to bring our RGs and our bugs in so that we can load the Indie Forge directly in the early stages. Then we're going to place the replicator right next to it. The reason we're placing the replicator right next to it is because it keeps it in range for when we put the Daddy storage boxes in later for wireless crafting. So what we're going to do with the Daddy storage boxes is we're going to remove all the first row of vaults. Then we're going to place the Daddy storage boxes lined up the same way, and we'll be able to place them 3 high and all the way down. Okay? Enable snapping. You gotta play with it a little bit because for some reason it likes to be fickle. Then we can remove those first 7 large storage boxes and replace them with Daddy storage boxes as well. Again, going 3 high and snapping them to each other. Again, with this placement, they are all within wireless crafting range of the replicator. Next, we're going to work on the greenhouse. We're going to first start off with a beam. We're going to place that beam just like we did on the fridges in the kitchen. And we're going to use the same technique to place the fridges in the greenhouse. Now, with the layout I have here, you can place up to 8 fridges in this spot. For this example, I only used 4. Again, making sure that your reticle is on the beam to ensure that the fridges line up properly and even, like so. And then this one being fickle, we're gonna go disable snapping and we're gonna do full alignment. We're gonna aim for that corner again to make sure we're lined up properly. And there we go, we have our 4 fridges. And as you can see, they're accessible from the bottom here. The bottom ones are obviously accessible, and the top ones are accessible just by looking up. Next, we're going to put our large crop plots. It's up to you on how high you want to stack them. Me personally, I don't go any higher than 6. Once you have your first one in place, making sure that you have snapping enabled, you can then snap them to each other going 6 high. I personally do 2 rows of 3, that way I have all the crops available to me. I use a crop plot in between to ensure the spacing is clean and accurate, and then I'm going to pick up that crop plot I used for spacing. Again, I encourage you to make this build your own. Oh, I went one too high. Let me remove that. Again, as I was saying, I encourage you to make this build your own and set it up as you feel is necessary for you. This is my preferred setup for my tribe. Then we're going to go to small crop plots on the edge here. And we're going to again stack them 6 high. I had partial alignment set up here and I just realized it. Ah, there we go, full alignment. And there we go. And then I'm going to stack them 6 high again, and I'm going to go almost all the way to the door. Sometimes you got to play around with the snap points. They like to be a little fickle sometimes for some reason when it comes to the crop plots. Then, again, in this example, I am going to put down 3 beehives almost against the wall, next to just after the small crop plots. As you can see, you will have space to put more if you desire. Then what I will do is I will put down some medium crop plots along this wall, around the middle area. I'm going to disable snapping, and I'm going to put the crop plots kind of splitting the wall there and the foundation tiles. I'm going to use that as a spacer to ensure that we get the right alignment. Then I'm going to play with the snap points, cycle through them till I get where I want. There we go. And then one more just to be sure. I'm going to pick up that first one I used for a spacer. Then I'm going to stack these 6 high yet again. Thank you for stopping by, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial on how to maximize your space in Chateau Devil Dog. As always, I encourage you to make these builds your own, and I hope these techniques help you when you do so. Please remember to like and subscribe. It really does help out a small starting channel like mine. See you next time.